Good afternoon, and welcome to the Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union 2017 Lunch and Learn series. Today's presentation is brought to you in partnership with Coffee, a nationwide financial coaching and education center focusing on improving the financial health of individuals. As the premier credit union of Prince George's County, they have joined with Coffee to expand their mission of providing quality financial education to their community and lending insight into credit management, home ownership, and money management. Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union is a full-service financial institution serving anyone who lives, works, or worships in Prince George's County, Maryland. This year they are celebrating 50 years in business and are one of the county's best-kept secrets with competitive loan and savings rates as well as discounts to national retailers. They currently serve over 16,000 members in the area and welcome you to come and experience the benefits of membership as well. Later on in the presentation, I will display their contact information and answer any specific questions you may have concerning your financial needs. Please note that today's webinar is live and all phone lines have been muted. If you have questions, please feel free to type it into the question field on the right-hand side of your menu bar. All questions are private and will be addressed at the end of our discussion. We will be offering a free 60-minute financial coaching session with the completion of 3 webinars. More information will be given at the end of today's presentation. Lastly, a recording of today's session will be available within 2 days. Details will be sent to your email following the presentation. And with all that being said, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Charmaine Williams, and I will be your presenter today. Now we're going to go ahead and get started and talk about common issues of a new marriage. So we all know first comes love and then comes marriage. But unfortunately, many newly married couples start their new lives together strapped with debt. Some bring their own personal debts with them to the marriage. Others start racking up credit card bills as they plan their weddings and honeymoons together. Why? Because they assume that they'll pool all financial commitments, debt included. After all, one of the purposes of marriage is the idea that what is mine is now ours. That's not always such a good idea when it comes to debt. Intertwining your finances is seen as a pledge of commitment, but financial decisions need to be made with your head and not with your heart. And before they can begin their finances in order, wham, a new baby is about to arrive, and that means spending more money. Let's talk about the most common issues facing a new family. Debt. What debts are you coming into the marriage with? What are the wedding and honeymoon incurring? It's tempting to put your money where your heart is, but the consequences can be devastating to both your relationship with your loved one and your good credit standing. The ties that bind should be those of mutual love and respect, not mutual debt. Overwhelming debt can be devastating, both financially and personally, and too much debt can damage your money situation for years. For some people who work in military, government, or financial positions that require security clearance, damaged credit or high debt could actually risk their jobs. Let's talk about debt as it pertains to a new family, the steps to take, the questions to ask, and what to look out for. You should start by sitting down with your partner and figuring out exactly how many unsecured debts you have between the two of you. This includes credit cards, personal loans, student loans, and medical bills. From there, figure out how much is owed on each one. Now look at their payments. Get a calculator and run some numbers. If, with your combined salaries, you can only afford the minimum payments on these bills, you may need to seek alternative methods of paying them so they don't get out of control. This could include credit card counseling or perhaps just making a one-time large payment to completely pay them off. You also need to factor in your fixed expenses, such as rent or mortgage and car payments. How will these payments affect your ability to pay down your unsecured debt? If the words budget or spending plan sound scary, or like too much work, don't panic. It's actually simple. Write down how much you are bringing in, calculate what is going out for your bills, fixed, flexible, and discretionary, and then see what is left over. If you are not happy with what is left over, how can you make small cuts? Could going to the movies a little less mean putting an extra $50 in your savings? Or paying an extra $50 towards that credit card that just won't go away? Putting things in writing can really help you visualize how to make better money decisions. Once you develop a working spending plan, you can pay your bills, have some savings, and still have spending money for fun. By tracking your spending, you can easily see where simple cuts can be made. So a few warning signs of too much debt. You usually are always late paying your bills. It takes you 60 to 90 days to cover bills that you could once pay monthly. If you find that some or many of these things are happening to you and your partner with your combined salaries, it's time to get serious help. Some options include setting up an appointment with a financial advisor. Many nonprofit debt counseling centers across the country will advise you for a low fee or at no charge. Some lenders will recommend debt counselors to you. Contact a customer service representative at your lender for referrals. Or contact the Consumer Credit Counseling Service in your area. They can often help you work out a repayment plan with your creditors. And if you contact a credit counseling agency, make certain their counselors are certified. Both marriage and relationship skill educators and financial experts recommend that individuals in a relationship explore how they can make financially sound decisions together. These advisors may offer educational programs to help couples think through deep emotional relationship and communication issues, as well as the financial do's and don'ts that may surface when two lives merge. This financial intimacy is a core element of a solid relationship or marriage. Now I'm going to get into the costs of marriage. So the average cost of wedding expenses as of the end of 2015, early 2016, for the venue, it's $14,788. Engagement rings from $5,871, and that's up from $5,855 the previous year. For decor, $2,300. Wedding cake, $575. If you wanted a photographer, $2,618. And for a reception DJ, approximately $1,171. So your total cost for just those things right there can be approximately $32,641. Okay, it's really expensive to get married these days, and that hasn't even factored in the wedding dress, the groom's tuxedo, and all of the extras, your favors and whatnot. So it's costly for marriage. So if you want to save money on your wedding, we're going to talk about some ways you can make a wedding more affordable. Firstly, there's time. There's no rush, especially if you're already cohabitating. Take your time and save. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a long engagement. If overtime is available for you at work, take it to save more. If the budget is really overwhelming, consider a temporary second job to bring in extra income, and put that extra income solely in a wedding fund. Don't spend it on anything else. If neither of these options exist, it's time to make some compromises. You have to set a limit and then create a list that falls within those guidelines. For example, first cousins may be invited, but second cousins are not. Have 2 bridesmaids instead of 10. If you originally considered 150 guests, try to slim it down to 100. For the ring, there are any men in the webinar today. Ask yourselves, why are you spending on average of $5,500 on a wedding ring? Does that mean you love your wife more than the other guy who didn't spend that kind of money? Or the person who spent $10,000 on their wedding ring loves his wife way more? Of course not. So You have to remember, it may sound strange, but you can easily save thousands of dollars by simply moving your wedding date to a Friday or possibly a Sunday instead of a Saturday. If you can make a weekday work, you'll save even more money. So that's another thing to consider. When it comes to the venue, you can save thousands if you find a venue that lets you pick your own vendors. For example, having a friend or a relative be your photographer or bartender or DJ versus the in-house one. Have the party catered instead of letting the venue do it for you. Instead of a sit-down meal, have the party catered from a restaurant or have a large barbecue. Make it buffet style. By reducing the amount of wait staff you need, you can save hundreds of dollars. A way to save on flowers is by using fake ones. You can tailor them to any color scheme your wedding has, and they last forever. And they will be so much cheaper than real flowers. You can actually have a beautiful, one-of-a-kind dress without it being a wedding gown. Try looking at bridesmaids' dresses or other dresses and have them altered by a seamstress. This could also save you a ton of money. Now when it comes to the cake, of course, this won't work for everyone, but if you know someone who is a cake decorator for a hobby, hire them to bake your cake instead of a bakery. You'll save yourself a couple $100s on that as well. So those are a few ways to save on your wedding. The process of moving money from an individual account to a joint account is a standard procedure for most couples. But is it the right one for you? One size does not fit all when it comes to money management. If both of you hold accounts at the same bank or credit union, it is easier to establish a new account together or to merge existing accounts. The decision of whether to marry your money when you tie the knot is very personal, and couples need to create a system that works for them. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of having a joint bank account so that you can take them into consideration when you and your spouse need to make that decision. So a few of the pros. A major advantage of a joint checking account is that there are more funds available in the account because both people are making regular contributions. As long as your spending is under control, a larger combined balance could make it easier to avoid balance-related issues such as overdraft fees and also minimize standard accounts. If you're considering a joint checking account with your significant other, it's likely you owe financial commitments to one another. A joint account fosters accountability and transparency about income, expenses, and financial goals, so you can see everything that's going on. Another pro is equal access to bank account makes it easier for the person who's more fiscally responsible, i.e. the one in the relationship who pays bills early, to assume the role of check writer and account balancer. Joint checking also makes it simple to handle shared expenses. Now a few cons are, the flip side of unfettered equal access and complete transparency is that there's no privacy in a joint account. So think long and hard about how open you want to be about your income, expenses, and spending habits. One solution is to have a joint account and two separate checking accounts with the former dedicated to share expenses. Okay, so you have a joint account for shared expenses, so the rent, the mortgage, your fixed expenses, etc. Another con is one or both of you may feel confined because you really don't have any of your own money with this system. Also, if the responsibilities for maintaining the account aren't equally divided, one person may resent the extra work of managing the joint account. And another con is with unlimited access to a joint account, a financially irresponsible spouse, child, or business partner could drain your funds. The funds in a joint account could also be threatened if one person uses the account as collateral after defaulting on a loan. So poor management of the funds could also lead to a delinquent checking account and can hurt your credit. So that's a few things to remember. You should include all your earnings, whether they be from a job, investments, or any other source of income. There can be no secrets when preparing for marriage. That goes the same with what you owe, whether it be a credit card debt or alimony. It all counts now that you're becoming a family unit. In most cases, you should not be liable for your spouse's credit card debt unless you signed onto a joint account. Discuss the things you own. It may be a car or any expensive equipment or large things of value. Even your timeshare that you didn't want your spouse to know about. So these things all need to be discussed and put put out in the open. Be open about your savings and investments. Discuss them. Are you going to combine this? If you're interested in investments, CDs, or money markets, combining your savings may be a good idea so you can get into a higher interest bracket. Or creating a third joint savings account you regularly contribute to for an emergency fund could be the best of both worlds. Strongly consider reviewing credit reports with each other. In a marriage, there should be complete transparency. This will give you both peace of mind in knowing that you can be counted on to pay the bills and make smart choices. It can also help you make a decision on whether or not to join accounts. If you see that your new spouse has several old bank account collections due, poor spending choices, a joint account may not be the right decision. Now we're going to talk a bit about blended families. A blended family is when you join two families, perhaps from a previous divorce or relationship with another person. Most times children are involved. While a blended family can be very beautiful, it also brings a new list of possible complications to the table. In this section, I will identify some of these potential situations for you so that you know what to look out for. Then I'll discuss some effective communication tactics that can alleviate or avoid these situations altogether. Relationships become even more complicated when new spouses are dealing with divorce, child support, alimony payments, and child visitations. For example, a person who's paying child support may expect a new partner to contribute more for household expenses. And that may come as an unpleasant surprise to the new partner when they find out they can't count on contribution because of prior circumstances in another marriage. Divorce arrangements can vary greatly. Each partner's circumstances should be fully discussed early in the relationship. Not sharing with each other the arrangements with former spouses as well as current obligations can prove extremely detrimental should they surface later. One partner may become bitter because their new spouse is paying a large sum of money to their former family, while the new household is left with only a fraction of that amount. New spouses are not legally obligated to support stepchildren, but their lives will be affected by their spouse's ongoing financial commitments to their former family. So a few tips for effective communication. Discuss what you'll want to know. You'll want to know how much support is being paid or received, okay? How long will it last, and what future commitments have been made? Write down a list of financial goals for the new family and share your ideas on how you will work to achieve them. It is essential to be honest with one another because lying about financial issues usually surface sometime during the relationship, and when that occurs, it's never pretty. Remember, your goal is to work together to overcome obstacles, not create barriers. Marriage is a team game, not a competition. You want to be specific. It's perfectly understandable to say something to the effect of, I am nervous about the amount of money you are able to contribute to the household. Let them know. Be specific and be honest. Positivity can be powerful. As a unit, it is your job to turn any conflict into a win-win situation. And in order to resolve conflict, you have to be understanding to each other's responsibilities, needs, aspirations for a relationship and financial situations. Regardless of your situation, it always helps to communicate and get everything out in the open. According to the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, the cost of raising a child born in 2015 from birth to age 17, including housing, food, clothing, healthcare, education, and other expenses, will be about $233,610 for a middle-income family. Lower-income families are expected to spend $174,690, and families with higher incomes are projected at $372,210. And these do not include the cost of post-secondary education. So having a baby in this day and age is expensive. The first year of parenthood alone can be a shocker between diapers, formula, car seats, nursery furnishings, sitters, and clothes they outgrow weekly. You may wonder how you'll ever afford to raise your child to adulthood. With some planning though, you can keep those first year costs down and maybe even stock away something for college. So let's discuss some strategies for saving money while raising a baby. Don't be shy about accepting hand-me-downs, shopping garage sales, and especially shopping end-of-season sales for next year's clothes. Also, buy out-of-season clothing, always. Too large is a fit, okay? If you need to buy formula, talk with your doctor about options. Some brands are cheaper than others, but make sure you have your doctor's okay first. You may be able to get samples and coupons while you're still in the hospital, and be sure to sign up for coupons at the major manufacturers' websites. Puree fresh fruits and vegetables. You can freeze these in ice cube trays and then put them in containers for individual servings when you need them. It is so much less expensive to wash the same bottles over and over. The best bottles are made of non-polycarbonate material. So reuse them. Don't buy those ones with the little plastic bags that you have to throw away every minute. Just get a bottle, wash it, sanitize it, super easy. Don't bother spending extra money on special baby detergents. Use regular scent-free detergents. There's no need to spring for a changing station. Lay your baby on some pads, blankets, or towels that you have specifically designated for changing. Stock up on diapers when they're on sale. Use coupon and check online for sales as well. Many store brand diapers are just as good as the name brand. When it comes to toys, make sure your baby has toys that they like and enjoy. But also remember that they are still a baby and won't remember if they don't have the hottest must-have toys of the season. You've all seen kids on Christmas. They get something awesome, take it out of the box, and then spend an hour playing with the box. I know I did that when I was younger. Many women today have large handbags to carry around all the stuff that we use in modern society. So if you fall into that category and have an older one collecting dust, transform it into a diaper bag. Okay? So these are some tips on how to save money when raising your baby. Again, remember that they grow so fast and they grow out of clothes. They don't need the hottest name brands. And remember, always remember that too big is a fit. Okay, so now I'm going to open up the floor for any questions, and I'm going to introduce Charmaine Buckner from the credit union to share anything that she may have as well. Charmaine, hi, are you on the line?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Charmaine Buckner. I work with Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union, and I just wanted to welcome everyone to the webinar here. One of the points that Charmaine Williams just made was talking about the cost of a wedding, nearly $32,000. Is that correct, Charmaine?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that
over 32,000.
Yeah, that's pretty high. I just want to tell everyone that's on the call today that we do have a product that could help you to save towards that goal. It's called our Pot of Gold savings product. And the way that it works is that every paycheck or upon whatever designation that you like, you can get a certain amount allocated to your savings account that will grow, and it has a high yield on it, and it will help you to get closer to your savings goals. So if that's something that you're interested in opening with our organization, Charmaine, can you forward it to the next screen there? We invite you to visit us online or stop by any of our branches, or just give us a call. We would love to meet with you and talk a little bit and learn a little bit about your savings goals and help you to achieve those goals. Thanks so much, Charmaine.
No problem. Thank you. It doesn't seem as though we have any questions about the presentation, so I'm hoping that everyone is in good understanding of what we were talking about. I believe the presentation is there's a white paper notes page for the handouts in the handout section that you could download. So thank you for attending today's educational webinar. To learn more about Prince George's Community Federal Credit Union or to speak to a member service representative, please visit www.princegeorgescfcu.org. So it's www.princegeorgescfcu.org or call 800-952-7428. We would like to thank you for attending today, and we hope that you found it very informative. To schedule your free 60-minute financial coaching session, please call Coffee at 866-459-5165. Thank you again, and have a great day.